Good day, everyone. It's Mr. Rops here, and today we're going to talk about solving quadratics and this idea of what we call the null factor law. And this law is a really important law because it all deals with this idea of something equaling zero. And zero when I multiply two numbers together. So imagine this, right? If I have 5 times 0, I get 0. You all know that from way before. But if I would ask you this question, I have two numbers and their product is 0. What then do I know about one of those two numbers? Well, what I do know is that either this number has to be 0 or this number has to be 0. So if I would say this was a times 5, well then I know that a has to be 0 in order to get 0. But if I said this was b, well, now I know one of these is 0. So a is 0 or b is 0. One of them is 0. It doesn't matter which one, as long as one of them is 0. And so I would have two answers. So that's what the null factor law says. And so the way this comes across in quadratics is we often have a scenario where we have x plus 2 and let's say x minus 5 equal to 0. And so when I look at this, I see this as a number and this as a second number. It's multiplied. So when I multiply this funny looking number x plus 2 times this funny number x minus 5, it has to be 0. Well, the only way to get a product to be 0 is if this number is 0 or this number is 0. And when I solve for x, I add 5. And so this happens when x is 5 or when x is minus 2. And so there are two answers. And so what the null factor law is all about is it says that there are two numbers that multiply together to get 0. Therefore, one of the two numbers, if I call it a and b, either a is 0 or b is 0. And that's what the null factor law is talking about. Really important idea. It comes across in mathematics all the time.